This video is going to be a film study look at Malik Harrison's performance in the Ravens' 30-23 win over the Chargers on Monday Night Football, moving the Ravens to 8-4, heading into their matchup at home next week on Sunday afternoon against the Philadelphia Eagles before our bye. Malik Harrison played a whale of a football game. If you're not interested in seeing evidence of how well he played, then don't watch this video because I've got about 16 plays queued up here from the all-22/end zone angle. First of all, he laid some shots, 3 different large impact hits. Does he look slow at times out in space? Sure, absolutely. As an inside linebacker, sometimes that's okay at the lower levels of football because you're running inside out. You've got outside leverage support, and in some cases, you're comfortable or okay with your players being slower at the inside linebacker level, particularly to the boundary. That's generally prior to Monday night, where we all thought Malik Harrison would play. Look, he not only played inside linebacker on Monday, he played outside linebacker and executed multiple techniques against the run and against the pass effectively. I don't know if he can do the same thing against the Eagles on Sunday night. I really don't care. The point of this video is to illustrate how well he played. Even myself, as someone who hoped that he could go out there and get something done in replacing Roquan Smith. Well, let's be honest, him and Chris Ford were trying to replace Roquan in the aggregate, and they did so. Malik Harrison had game-high 13 tackles. No, he's not used as a pass rusher. That's not a part of his game, but I thought he was extremely effective, and I think the film will prove it. Like I said, we got about 16 plays queued up here. He did spend time at inside linebacker and outside linebacker. Here he is at OLB. First possession, actually first play for the Chargers, and he's going to absolutely blow up the pulling fullback/tight end, whatever you call them. I mean, pads below pads, right shoulder into the chest, sternum area, setting him back inside. No gain on the play for JK. Yeah, you did have one run concept in that first half where I thought Malik Harrison could have filled a whole lot better into the B gap. This is pretty much what you got on the night. Very physical downhill play. In this case, compressing everything. Travis Jones was involved in this one as well. Like I said, JK for no gain on the play. Still first possession, and just to show the versatility of what they were asking him to do, I mean, he played outside linebacker to the field on the previous snap that I showed you. This one, playing inside linebacker, dropping out in depth, pretty much looks almost a little bit like a Tampa 2. He's got more depth than the other second-level defenders here. 2 high safety structure. You can see the 2 safeties are Darius and then Kyle Hamilton. Herbert's going to get out of here, get a short gain on the scramble, I think about 4 or 5 yards. This happened multiple times early whereby Herbert dropped back. And look, this happened against the Steelers last week. So I don't pretend to know what that dynamic is yet. I've been traveling pretty much most of the morning, so unable to watch the film in great detail other than grabbing Malik Harrison film and Derrick Henry plays, of course. And there's something that we're doing in terms of calling our coverages that quarterbacks are not exactly seeing what they thought they were going to get, because now we've got 8 quarters in a row, Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson oftentimes dropping back and looking at their first read, getting nothing accomplished. This is still first drive for the Chargers. They, of course, they made it look really easy, but not on this play. Malik Harrison at inside linebacker, going to be a handoff to JK. Van Noy played really well as well, got a sack. He's unblocked here, so folding down inside. I'm not sure what the scheme is. There's Van Noy. Malik Harrison filling here. He laid some shots on JK and the fullback and the tight end in one case, 42, 43. Kind of can't tell them apart, but it's a trap concept. Nobody getting to Malik Harrison. Also, I guess we're reading Kyle Van Noy at the quarterback position. Van Noy is able to fold down inside. Yes, they did score, but the point of this video is to illustrate how much of an impact Malik Harrison had. You'll get a better idea of what we're talking about here as far as Kyle Van Noy being unblocked. You got a trap concept here on Urban. He's falling down. Van Noy's going to fold inside. Nobody goes up to get Harrison. He folds into the other gap. 79 looks lost. Nice job in an unblocked situation, at least, making a tackle for 2 yards. Moving forward, second possession for the Chargers. Still at inside linebacker in our nickel defense. We were in our nickel often, even against 12 personnel or 21, whatever some of those guys are called, 43 and 44, 42, excuse me. It's a 2nd and 9, and he's going to make the tackle as the backside inside linebacker. Now, it's a pitch play. JK is either trying to get the edge or cut this thing back against the grain. Chris Board's the front side inside linebacker. I mean, we're really slow playing it here. We're really slow playing it, a little bit too slow, if you ask me, but he fits it on the backside, and it only ends up being a 4-yard gain. As an aside, there's 4 or 5 reps in this game where Chris Board looks really good. He's the field side inside linebacker now. First of all, Kyle Hamilton absolutely decks this wide receiver trying to block him, and Chris Board is prepared to fit here if he needs to, or settle his feet, match the running back's tempo, which he does, coming back inside, him and Harrison there at 4 yards. That's, again, I think it's maybe a little bit slower than we would like from a Malik Harrison standpoint, but he got the job done. Still second possession. He's playing OLB. You can see how much they've moved him around. This is, of course, going to be the fast sweep to Davis to the field. And I think it's worth noting and mentioning again that Malik Harrison's playing inside linebacker, Mike, generally, and then he's walking up and playing OLB to the field. There's a difference there because there's less space to cover if he's lined up at outside linebacker to the boundary, meaning there's less space to the downside of our screen, the left side of the Ravens defense, than there is to the top side. Not necessarily on our screen. I'm zoomed in a little bit, but in actuality on the field, 53 and a third yards wide, the NFL hashes are tight together. He's not reached, man. Like, for the same guy to be doing these things, it's extremely impressive to me. And I understand if you or anyone else wants to talk about Malik Harrison in the way that he has struggled at times in 2024, you got to give him credit for the way he played on Monday night. This is very rare to see someone be able to execute this multitude of techniques. He's a little bit reached by step here. You'll lose him for a moment getting off frame, but he's going to get his head out in front. You do have the running back leading, so it's a fast sweep to Davis, who's got, significant burst. And Malik is out there as the, quote, edge defender, and now he's one. Also, you have a force defender. In this case, it's Brandon Stevens. We string it out, ends up being a 3-yard gain. Really didn't get as much accomplished as they would have liked to the wide side of the field. Late job here by Malik. They're going to try to cut Tavius Robinson. We're still on that second possession. I'm going to pretty much cut this film once we get to the late third quarter. Harrison didn't have as much of an impact, but his take on, there's a level of commitment and a level of force for him when he takes on a block. Watch him stand up Joe Alt. Alt actually has to go up off of his leg, lift one leg up off the ground because of the force. Harrison's fit on the inside. Tavius is also sprawled. And so when JK brings this back, he does end up getting 5 yards, but there's nowhere for him to go up under the kick-out block, meaning to this side. Malik has stepped downhill inside of Joe Alt, and then Tavius Robinson's also forced it. And then he does actually get involved, get credit with the tackle. Brent Urban's on the bottom. His take on, I think, is very technical and powerful against offensive linemen. He's actually knocking guys back at times that we don't normally do that, whether it's Roquan and or Trenton Simpson. So this is a pass play, still on that second possession. They're up 7-0 at this point. We're playing quarter, half. So I think we've got half field defender here, a corner in the flats, and then quarter safety, and then quarter corner, which is Brandon Stevens, which is not unusual to be playing quarter, half to the field. We're going to see a lot of it next week against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is going to be complete to JK down to the downside. Again, Malik is a little slower than maybe we would like attacking this, but he stays on the correct angle, committed, and then he brings the wood to these guys out in space. JK got it twice, the tight end once as well. It's 5 yards, and so it's a successful play for the Chargers. They did go down and score on this possession, like I said, to go up 10-0. It's a 3rd and 1, and now he's at OLB again. I can't stress enough how impressive this is to be moving around from one position to another. We get the stop. He closes down. Unfortunately for us, the Chargers are actually able to convert here, but Christian Welch filling to the inside. Broderick Washington maintaining his outside leverage. Absolute win by Malik Harrison. Essentially just running past the tight end / fullback 42, whatever you want to call him. And we're able to make the stop on that play. Chargers did convert on the very next snap, I believe with a tight end sneak. Still same possession after this is my apologies. This is the same play from the all-22 angle. You're going to see him come down here from the edge, Welch fill to the inside, and Broderick Washington maintain that outside leverage once the running back Gus gets downhill, and we just bottle this all up. I thought he got it, but they called it for no gain on the 3rd and 1, like I said. Chargers were able to convert it on the very next play. This is after that conversion and a short pass to J.K. Dobbins. Now you can see that they've moved Harrison to inside linebacker. We're in our essentially when we were in our nickel set, it seemed like he was an inside linebacker. We were a base defense in run situations. Then he was playing OLB. So clearly the staff trusts him. Number one. Number two, he justified their trust by making 13 tackles last night. I'm running a new stream in laptop, so if the sound is unusual, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm trying to record these, like I said, while we travel for the holidays. So zone drop. I felt like we were playing a lot more zone with him on the field. Do have 2 instances of him playing man against running backs later in the game, but you can see flat-footed here, waiting on Herbert to try to throw something. He does seem to be very patient when he's out in pass drops, meaning he's not going to overcommit to the quarterback looking one way or the other. So I'm not throwing any shade at some of our other guys who do react to quarterbacks heavily. I thought Roquan got a whole lot better last week against the Steelers. Harrison just doesn't seem to move as much as those guys. He doesn't seem to be moved as easily. Let me rephrase that. 3rd possession. This is a 3rd and 1. This is actually called back for a penalty on them. Van Noy is wrong-arming this from the top side. So he's stunting inside, excuse me. I think we fold Marlon Humphrey over the top, and then Harrison ends up cleaning this up because we've disrupted the flow of the play. They rightfully get a holding call here on Van Noy. The guard has had to loop all the way around. That's this guy, 77. And then here's Malik coming downhill. He finishes off J.K. Tackled J.K. violently at least 2 or 3 times during the game. Perhaps you're not as impressed as I was. I thought he played extremely well for a guy who was replacing Roquan Smith. And then when you add in the factor that he was also expected to play outside linebacker in the same game, it's a very unique situation, in my opinion. Probably will be undercovered overall because of what Derrick Henry was able to do. And overall, our offense able to put up 30 points against the team with the lowest scoring defense in the league. I think Malik Harrison is possibly one of the bigger stories coming out of this game because he was able to fill at 2 positions that are very difficult to play. Inside linebacker at the NFL level, the high-level college football, Power 5 especially, is damn near impossible to do all of the things that you're asked to do from a coverage standpoint and play against the run. Moving forward to the 4th possession at inside linebacker, again, you can see, though, we've responded to whether this is 12 personnel or 21. Doesn't matter. It's 2 tight ends from an alignment standpoint and then 2 receivers to the field. We've responded with our nickel defense. And again, he's an inside linebacker with Marlon as the nickel and our Darius Washington and Kyle Hamilton as the 2 safeties. Again, zone on, I believe it's a 1st and 10. No one really open, perhaps a longer throw out here to Quentin Johnston up to the top side. Herbert gets out of there to the field. And Malik always ends up on the backside. So what I mean by that is always ends up on the near side hip. He never overruns it. He kind of can't because of foot speed. I think he's quite obviously slower than some of the other guys we play at the 2nd level. This is maddening, the end of the 2nd quarter situation. We're in a 5-1 look. 7 seconds left, up 14-10. These are, I don't understand the rationale behind having 3 guys stand here and do nothing, not look for any work at all. I believe this is Oweh as well. No rush from the other 2 players, the interior defensive linemen. I get it if we don't want to rush because we want him to use up time, then I think we should be identifying routes. And so whether that's turning your back and getting underneath of routes, I'm talking about, one or both of these guys here, getting underneath of routes to look for work such that if Herbert scrambles, they're going to use up a lot of time. I think that's the idea. Make them use up a lot of time by clogging up passing windows. It just doesn't work, number one. Number two, it's so unusual that To me, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like I feel like we're asking guys here to not play any technique at all. Technique is your stance, your alignment, your stance, and your steps. And to me, we're instructing guys there to utilize no technique, no steps post snap, and we're not putting them in position to succeed, in my opinion. The Chargers were able to get a field goal out of it. Is it possible that they could have elicited 3 points out of it anyway? Sure. Moving on to the second half, I think we're fifth possession here for the Chargers. Third quarter, we're up 17-13 at this point because we've got a field goal on our opening possession. And this is another big hit from a zone defense. Now, if we're going to play Malik Harrison next week because Roquan's out, I do wonder, speculate maybe, if the Eagles are going to look at it and say, okay, well, he's on the field. It's their dime defense. We know it's zone because they, quote, don't trust him in man. I wonder if we should have put out a couple of more plays on film in our dime defense whereby we were playing man and not looking like we're going to be so predictable. Dropping Adisa Isaac out in coverage, trying to blitz Marlon Humphrey. He got kind of jammed up. Complete to the tight end / fullback Fisk, and he takes a tremendous shot from Malik, showstopper from a momentum standpoint. And then we're also there at DB to try to impact the play or hopefully just get out of the way. That one was impressive. Third big hit of the game, if you ask me. End zone angle, same play. I'm not sure if I know Coach Evans did a Malik Harrison video, so go check that one out too. If you've listened this long, first of all, thank you. But second of all, go check his out at all times and see what he has to say about him and which plays he chose to focus on. I grabbed this specific set of plays up through middle, late third quarter because I wanted to paint the picture or try to paint the picture that my eyes saw. You're welcome to let me know if you disagree in the comment section. Still third quarter, that fifth possession. I believe it's fifth possession. He's on at Mike linebacker. This is a 2nd and 3, and it's going to be a great read. So a zone concept. He's the Mike, so I can't really say away from him, meaning if he's lined up on the midline, he's actually slightly off the midline. This is not away from him, neither is this. He's the Mike linebacker on the midline. You want him on the backside hip of the running back such that the running back can't cut back. We've built an absolute wall here, and Malik Harrison's the beneficiary. It's a great angle by him and a great play. I'm not trying to minimize it, but everyone else had built the wall already. At this point, during the game live, I remember talking in our Discord like, hey, someone is playing like a madman. I didn't want to say the name because I didn't want to jinx him. There was no jinxing him on this night. 2 more plays here. Again, we'll pretty much cut it at the third quarter. They were in love with this formation against us. So tight end, running back, same side, and then trips to the field. So expect to see this against the Eagles. People are seeing something. I don't know necessarily what it is. Well, a lot of people use trips closed for real. It's a difficult formation from a horizontal standpoint to defend. It's a run to the weak side, so away from the tight end. And the take on is what I think is fun to watch here. So it's the left guard, and Malik just stuffs it pretty much 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. You can win that way. The line of scrimmage is the negative 46, and Malik's going to take this on at the negative 47. So 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. Sets the guard such that there isn't this huge lane to either side, nor is there a two-way go that's appropriate enough for the running back. He does get 3 yards. It's Haskins. I think at this point will be their third-string running back or maybe second if, unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins is hurt. Last play to illustrate kind of what I was talking about earlier. We do have him covering the running back this time into the boundary. This is 3rd and 8 in the fourth quarter. Herbert is taking a shot down the field. Initially, they called the pass interference on Brandon Stevens. I think there's more contact on the far side than perhaps we knew or we understood when you see the end zone angle, but I'm not sure how this ref sees that. So, I think there's more contact on this side. Maybe the ref is capable of seeing it from that angle. But Malik is being asked to cover the running back. The Ravens coaching staff didn't hold back with what he was tasked to do in this game, other than playing a lot of zone when he was on in our nickel defense. I think that's appropriate. I think it's appropriate usage for him to not expose him so much in man coverage. We've had trouble with that at times this year. I didn't see those troubles pop up on Monday night. You're welcome. Other than JK may have juked him out in space on a pass reception in the first quarter. So I omitted that play. I just realized that. I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't Malik Harrison, but I think that it was. Nonetheless, I think he played a spectacular football game. If we were going to award Defensive Player of the Week to someone on our team, who would it be? Odafe Owe played like a madman. He had a ton of really nice pass rush reps. So I get it if you want to say Owe. Marlon Humphrey was all over the place. He was asked to do a lot. I thought two of the defensive pass interference penalties against him were kind of bogus. Nate Wiggins had some good reps, don't get me wrong. I think Malik Harrison outshined them all, at least on this night, making 13 tackles, being really solid against the run, and a sure tackler, whether it was out in space or it was run concepts that were, quote, on the inside. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect 13 tackles. If you had told me Malik Harrison had 7 or 8 tackles, before the game, I mean, I would have accepted. I'd say, yep, I'll take that right now. If he's going to have that much of an impact, that's a good thing. We need him to replace partially what Roquan can give us. He damn near replaced all of it. From a production standpoint, 13 tackles. From a physicality standpoint, that may have been the second most physical game I've seen an inside linebacker play for us this year, behind Roquan playing last week against the Steelers. I do think it's interesting that 2 inside linebackers, Roquan and now Malik Harrison, consecutive weeks, have played extremely well and really solid against the run. So there's something to be said there. The defense seems to be tightening up, improving, if you will, in my opinion. You're welcome to let me know what you think of that thought in the comment section. If you check this out, the video out this long, and you haven't already done so, please let me know what you thought of Malik Harrison's play overall and the clips that I chose to illustrate the level of performance that he gave us in trying to replace Roquan Smith. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this film study look at Malik Harrison's performance in Monday Night Football's win over the Chargers, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.